Hari Om. Welcome everybody to Satsang on a cold, snowy day. I appreciate you coming out in this weather and for joining us. We're going to start our Satsang, as we always do, with Kirtan. Kirtan is short for San Kirtan. And that means coming together as a community to sing the names of God. And in the yogic tradition, the sound of God is God. It's not, there's no separation, it's not symbolic. It is that thing, just as we are that thing. Tat Tvamasi. So we will start with 3 Oms, followed by the opening shlokas. You can follow along in your book on page 9. Please join us.
Jayanti Yoginaha Kamaram Mokshadam Jaiva Omkaraya Namo Namaha Guru Brahman Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahman Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivanandaya Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivanandaya Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Pahimam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Shivananda, Shivananda, Shivananda Rakshamam Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya.
Om Namo Shivanje Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shivanandaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Satchidananda Guru Satchidananda.
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 Satchidananda Guru Satchidananda. Satchidananda Guru Satchidananda. Satchidananda Guru Satchidananda. Satchidananda Guru Satchidananda. Satchidananda Guru Satchidananda.
Satchidananda Guru
Satchidananda. 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 Rama 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 Rama
Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama
Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama
Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama
Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama
Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama Rama
Ram Ram Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram 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 Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Ram Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Ram Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram Rama 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 Ram 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 Rama Ram 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 Rama 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 Ram
Rama 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 Rama
Rama Rama Rama Ram Rama 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 Ram Amba Parameshwari Akhilandeshwari Adipara Shakti Palayamam Amba Parameshwari Akhilandeshwari Adipara Shakti Palayamam Om Mata Om Mata Om Shri Mata Jagatamba Om Mata Om Mata Om Shri Mata Jagadamba Amba Param Parameshwari Akilandeshwari Adipara Shakti Palayamam Amba Parameshwari Akilandeshwari Adipara Shakti Palayamam Om Mata Om Mata Om Shri Mata Jagatamba Om Mata Om Mata Om Shri Mata Jagatamba Lalitamba Lalitamba Jagatamba Jagatamba Ganapate Namaha Om Gam 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 Ganapate Ganesha Sharanam 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 Om Gam Ganapate Namaha 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 Om Gam Ganapate Ganesha Sharanam 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 Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha 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 Nesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha
This next chant we'll be doing is, the lyrics are Maha Tripuras Sundari. It means, I bow to the goddess that illuminates the three worlds. And this melody was written by a very dear friend of mine.
Sundari Maha Tripura Sundari Maha Tripura Sundari Maha Tripura Sundari Lakshmi Devi Namo Namaha 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 Lakshmi Devi Namo Namaha. Bhajo Radhe Krishna, Bhajo Radhe Shama, Bhajo Radhe Krishna, Bhajo Radhe Shama, Bhajo Radhe Krishna, Bhajo Radhe Shama, Bhajo Radhe Krishna, Bhajo Radhe Shama. Om 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 Soham 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 Shivoham Soham 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 Shivoham Soham 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 Shivoham Soham 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 Shivoham I am that I am, 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 I am neither body nor mind, immortal self 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 I am not this body is not mine, I am not this mind is not mine, I am not this body is not mine, I am not this mind is not mine, I am not this prana is not mine, I am not these senses are not mine, I am not this prana is not mine, I am not these senses are not mine. I am that I am, 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 I am that I am. Soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham. Om 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 om. Om 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 om. Om 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 om. Om 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 om. Vajorade Krishna, Vajorade Shama, Vajorade Krishna, Vajorade Shama. Vajorade Krishna, Vajorade Shama, Vajorade Krishna, Vajorade Shama. Om 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 om. Om 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 om. Om 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 om. Om 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 om. I am that I am, 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 I am that I am. Soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham, soham, soham, soham shivoham. Om 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 om
We have time for one more. A quick one.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
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 Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
Hari 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 Om.
Hari 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 Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari 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 Om.
Hari Om 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 Hari Om. Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om Hari Om. Hari Hari Om.
Hari Hari Om.
Hari Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari
Thank you so much, Pratik, Jeremy, Krishna Kumari, and Snehan. And in case she's not tired of hearing it, happy birthday again to Krishna Kumari. Aw. You're such a gift to all of us, and we're so thankful for you. Thank you so much. Aw. Hari Om, good evening, everyone. My name is Sister Vani, and on behalf of Satchidananda Ashram Yogaville, welcome to this evening's Saturday's Satsang program. We have a cozy group here in person, and welcome to those joining us online. And for those online that may not live near the ashram here, we've enjoyed a beautiful snowy weekend and had the opportunity to visit a snow-covered lotus this afternoon. And it was very magical and beautiful. So we'll continue this evening by reciting the prayers for world peace. So you're invited to stand if you would like as we recite the prayers on the front side of the yellow sheets. Auspiciousness be unto all. Perfect peace be unto all. Fullness be unto all. Prosperity be unto all. Happiness be unto all. Perfect health be unto all. May all see good in everyone. May all be free from suffering. Om Shanti. You may be seated. So next we'll have a video of Sri Gurudev, Swami Satchidananda. Following the video, we'll introduce our speaker for this evening and then close with an Arati, an offering of light. So this evening's video is from 1986, and it's on receiving grace, communicating with God, and balancing rajas and tamas. So please enjoy. I believe our crew has almost finished clearing the stage here, and the video will come on in just a moment. Thank you so much.
For people that are new on the path of spirituality, what do you recommend for them? Are there steps or procedures? Thank you. They already have stepped into the first step by wanting to become a spiritual student. That's the most important thing. Do you want to follow the spiritual path? Want to know your own true spirit? And then the next thing is to make yourself fit for that, physically and mentally. So follow the steps given in our yogic path. Do regular asanas, pranayama, pratyagara, dharana, dhyana. And most of all, learn to be a fool. A fool is one who is mad after a goal. In a way, we are all mad. Everybody is a mad person. Some are mad after money, some are mad after power. So everything is madness. Some are mad after God. So the whole world is filled with mad people. So you become totally mad after knowing God. For that, learn to be selfless. Renounce your selfishness. That is the first and foremost thing. Sacrifice the I, me, mine. And always ever ready to serve others. If that quality is there, then your mind will be always clean. Because you need a peaceful mind, a steady mind to realize your own spirituality. It's not given to you by somebody else. You are that spirit. You are that image of God. To realize that, you have to keep a clean and peaceful, steady mind. To make the mind fit for that, the only way is to become totally selfless. Totally selfless. When we project our egos and begin to work for ourselves, for me, for my sake, to gain my thing, that certainly disturbs the mind. Those who are selfish can never find peace. Their mind will be always disturbed. So, live to serve others. and be kind and compassionate to one and all. These qualities will make you a fit instrument to understand and to realize your own spirit or the image of God in you. And if you can't do it by yourself, seek the company of the people. That's why ashrams like this are set up, so that like-minded people can live together and help each other. You may not know, you may not see your own faults. Like if you have a black spot on the face, you cannot see it, but your friend can see it. And they can show you that there is something wrong in the face, go and wash it. That is the advantage of being in the company. Tiruvalluvar says, friendship is not only to live together and laugh. Nagudal poruttendu nattal. Migadikkan meetchendu idithat poruttu. If there is something wrong with you, if you are faltering from your goal, it's the duty of the friend to point it out, however hard it is. We need a friend for that. That's why in the company of the self-seekers, the others can help you when you make a mistake, when you are slipping from your goal. That's called Satsanga, good company. The company itself will go a long way to make you a better person. Would you please tell us it sounds like USA. Tell us a prayer or mantra to loosen the scars of an unhappy childhood. Like shell shock, the tiniest thing can set off the agony. Thank you for sharing your life with us. A prayer or a mantra. Yes, you can repeat a mantra. Get initiated and let the mantra be a prayer. When you repeat the mantra, think that you are calling for help. Because prayers can bring immense benefit. There's nothing impossible. More things are wrought by prayer than the world dreams of. Now that you have a keen interest in getting over those childhood memories, don't even invite them. The memories will come, but every time you ponder over that, you are renewing it. The best way is to, one side positive, prayer, mantra. Another side, don't invite those thoughts again. That's all dead and gone. Childhood memories, good or bad, we all would have had some bad memories, but we are growing out of it. We don't have to think of the past. If a lotus flower, which is so beautiful, is going to think of its origin, it'll be ashamed. It won't even shine well. It comes from mud and mire. So everybody would have some bad experiences past. But time to outgrow that, forget it and put new thoughts, new ideas. Even though they come to your memory, reject it. Don't even think of it. You don't have to invite them, encourage them. Because the more you think, the more they will haunt you. That's why people say, better to forget and forgive. Is it possible to lead, to heal the Manomaya Kosha through the Anandamaya or Pranamaya Koshas? That is, heal the mind through the body. Good. Manomaya, Anandamaya, that means you are reading the Koshas now. Simple thing is body and mind. Manomayam means mindmayam, mind personified. Pranamayam, body made of prana. Annamaya, body made of food, physical body. Physical body, vital body, mental body, and intellectual body, and blissful body. These are the Pancha Koshas, 5 Koshas. To heal the mind through the body. It's the other way around. You can heal the body through the mind. Because after all, body is made of mind. Mind-made body. Mind solidified is body. Mind frozen is body. Like water frozen is ice. Mind expanded is Akash, ether, Anandamaya Kosha. It's all, though you call it different koshas, they're all one and the same in different levels of expression. The gross expression is the mind, the body, physical body, Annamaya. But all could be cleaned out through the mind. Because it's the mind that's the most important. Its mind can put you down or lift you up. So keep the mind fully occupied in what you want to do, what you want to achieve. As you think, so you become. As you think, so your body becomes. The body is your make. You made the body. You can change the body. But that doesn't mean you should not do anything with the body. Help the body also, make it clean. But the most important part is the mind. To heal the mind through the body. Yes. Of course, people find it hard to play with the mind, to tame the mind. So you take the gross mind, which is the body, tame the body, tame the breath, and thus tame the mind. But your main goal is to tame the mind, train the mind, control the mind, discipline the mind. For that, you discipline the body through asanas, discipline the vital body, pranamaya, through pranayama, and then the mind through sense controls. Even the sense controls, sense by themselves are harmless. But without the mind, sense cannot do anything. But you are dividing the mind into small sections. Mind that function through the eyes, function through the body, sense of perception. Mind functioning through the ears, through the nose. So by sense control, you are controlling the mind. You are not controlling the senses as such. So ultimate aim is to control the mind. So you can go through all this. The very tricky thing. Mind has to be approached. All means. The simple and the best thing is surrender yourself to God. As those people say, become a fool. Then you don't have to worry about anything. I am thine, all is thine, thy will be done. It's all God's will. It's all God's will. Then you are slowly purifying your ego, because there's no my will as such. The simplest and the best, through devotion, surrendering to God. Many great sages and saints have achieved the highest goal by just giving themselves to God, by surrendering themselves to God. I heard a discussion on the tape yesterday. I know I am angry, underlined. Is there a difference between the two eyes? Oh yes, one is the left eye and one is the right eye. Yeah, I mean, one is the left eye to be left out. And the right eye has to be kept. That's the right eye. You should know the difference between the eye that should be left out and the eye that is right for you. I know that I am angry. Yes. Certainly there are two different eyes. Otherwise, how can you know that you are angry? One is the subject, the other one is an object. You are seeing your own possession, the lower mind, and the higher mind. The mind splits into two levels, higher and the lower. The anger and other all kinds of qualities are in the lower mind. Not only angry, I am happy. I know that I am happy. Then who is that? What is it? What kind of mind is that? I am happy. Compared to that I, the knower, the I am happy I also is lower. Not only the angry I, the happy I also is lower compared to the knowing I. You always put yourself as a witness, eternal witness. Aham sakshihi. I am the witness. And the witness doesn't get involved in any actions. Even in a case, if the witness is a party to the crime, he is no more a witness. Witness is the one who saw the whole thing without getting involved in it. We all have that kind of witness. The knower, the knower, the knower. And you should know you are that knower. You are that knower. You are having so many things around you, but you are not affected by that. I won't even say you are using them. No, you don't use it. If you use them, you are not a witness. Then who is the user? Who uses that? Your ego or your reflection. That is the mind. It is in that mind you have higher level, lower level mind. Different levels of the mind that wants things, mind that decides things. Manam, buddhi, chitta, ahankaram. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankaram. The desirous mind, the analytic mind, the egoistic mind, the possessive mind. It's all the mind, different levels of mind. But you, as a witness, as a knower, have nothing to do with all these things. But somehow we become associated with that. It is to free yourself from all those associations is what you call liberation or freedom. So always remember this. I am the pure one. I am me. I am I. I am that I am. In that sense, you are part of that supreme I.
Jai Shri Satguru Maharaj Ki. Jai. Thank you so much, Gurudev, for those messages for the evening. There's a lot to reflect on as we go to bed tonight, but not yet, because first we have a speaker with us this evening, Reverend Paramand Barsel. It's been a little while since he's spoken here at Satsang, probably a few months or so thank you so much for being here this evening. So Reverend Paramand, he's been a disciple of Swami Satchidananda since 1970 and has served in Integral Yoga Institutes across the West and East Coasts since that time. He studies and teaches all aspects of Integral Yoga and currently serves here at Yogaville at the ashram in workshops, scripture studies, and retreats, and also with the Integral Yoga teacher trainings. He also assists his wife, Reverend Lakshmi Barsel, who's sitting next to him this evening, with the Ashram Prison Project. And for almost 2 decades, they've hosted a Patanjali Yoga Sutra study group, which is available weekly on Zoom for those that are interested in joining. Is there a title for your talk this evening, Reverend Paramand? Reverend Paramand Barsel.
Center and a great teacher. And he gave a talk called Vedanta in America. So I stole the title. And he, in turn, based that talk a lot on a book by another teacher named Phil Goldberg, who wrote American Veda. So what's this all about? It's about the fact that all of what we just heard, that's Vedanta, especially what Gurudev was saying at the end, but you could say in a broader sense, all of the great teachings of India can be seen as Vedanta. Vedanta means the end of the Vedas. The Vedas are the scriptures, and they end in the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, the high teachings, which is all that Gurudev ever shared with us. When Gurudev taught the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, he taught it as Vedanta also. So it's all Vedanta. He just gave us the Vedanta of being a fool, which is the absolute highest teaching you could ever have. I'm working on it. I think I have a natural affinity. So this point is that we're living in an ocean of yoga and Vedanta. I don't need to say yoga and Vedanta, same thing. Gurudev, by the way, identified himself as a Vedantin. We once asked him to tell if he would tell us some stories at Shivaratri, and he said, "Stories? I'm a Vedantin. Why are you asking?" Because the Vedanta goes to the highest truth. So why would I be telling you stories? And what's the highest truth? He just told you. It's that we're one. None of this that we now take for granted in the West was in the West. And a lot of it came to the West for the first time in the mid-1800s, because the first translation into English of the Bhagavad Gita happened. And it was like a bomb went off. All these great thinkers and philosophers in the West, the foremost philosopher in America is Emerson. Have any of you heard of Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson? He's called the Plato of America, the father of philosophy in America. He was wild for it once he got his hands on it. And this effect could be seen on philosophers like him, poets and writers like Walt Whitman, who Emerson founded the Transcendentalist movement in America. And they used to sit together like we sit in our living room and chew the fat about all this stuff, which can't really be spoken of. So they're Gurudev defined philosophy, by the way, as when neither the speaker nor the listener understands what's being said. That's philosophy. But these were some great thinkers. Emerson, Thoreau, Walt Whitman, William James, all these great. And then coming more into this century, we get a bunch of scientists who were like in the forerunners of pushing into the question of, which is a Vedanta question, what's really there? And that's when everything blows up, is when you keep looking deeper and deeper and deeper. What's really there? It turns out there are no atoms. It's made out of consciousness. Devices, their cell phones, it's all To me, it sums up the whole sloka. It's giving all the qualities of the guru, which means you, who you are, the pure, divine, infinite consciousness in you. And towards the end of this big list, infinite, like the sky, the witness of everything, but then towards the end of the list it says, oh, in case you thought you understood any of that, bhavatitam, it means can't be grasped by the mind, which to me is very comforting. So you can take that thought to bed with you. If you can't grasp any of this talk, you've done very well. So some of the people that were influenced by this, like I said, include Walt Whitman was meeting with Emerson in the mid-1800s. This first translation of the Gita came out. And in the mid-1800s, this is before Vivekananda first brought all of this teaching in a concrete way. It came as the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, and fun fact, there's now an estimated 650 translations of the Bhagavad Gita, and a New York Times reviewer commented on that and said, apparently to read the Bhagavad Gita is to be seized with an irresistible urge to translate it. So it's true. Everybody comes out with their translation. So Emerson, as I said, the Plato of American philosophy, founder of transcendentalism, along with Thoreau. You've heard of Thoreau? I'm sorry if I put this out there, but I mean, when I was growing up back in the age of the dinosaurs, we all got exposed to On Walden Pond and all this. He's Emerson's protege and another wild transcendentalist. But you can study all of these, and you'll never come across what I'm about to share. So I'm really indebted to Sarvapriyananda for passing on a lot of what he heard from Phil Goldberg and enhancing it even. He's a wonderful teacher. Here's what Emerson wrote when he read the Bhagavad Gita for the first time. This is a quote. "It was the first of books, nothing small or unworthy, but large, serene, consistent, the voice of an old intelligence, which in another age and climate had pondered and thus disposed of the same questions which exercise us now in another time, another civilization, another climate. Sounds like he was impressed. Bhagavad Gita, what's the essence of Bhagavad Gita? It's the essence of Vedanta. The essence of Vedanta is that you, in reality, even though you think that you're a mind and body, you are actually pure, infinite consciousness, you're divine. Like Gurudev said, you have nothing to do with all those other levels, nothing to do with those mind levels. You witness it, you're the knower. And that's the whole goal of yoga, is to experience that. Here's what Emerson said. You have to understand that this stuff was really radical. Emerson got kicked out of the Harvard Divinity School, where he was giving a commencement address to the Unitarian ministers and was giving these teachings. They kicked him out. They didn't invite him back for 25 years. Now the philosophy department there is called Emerson Hall. And in a lot of places it is. So here's what he said, just to show you the extent of this. On karma and reincarnation, he said, quote, "You cannot do wrong without suffering wrong. Treat men as pawns and ninepins." And by the way, this doesn't sound all that old, does it? It's been around. "Treat men as pawns and ninepins, and you shall suffer as well as they. If you leave out their heart, you shall lose your own. Discover the secret of the world, that all things subsist and do not die, but only retire a little from sight, and afterwards return again." Yeah. And one of his most famous writings was a poem about Brahman. He called it Brahma, but he was talking Brahma, the way we usually would say it in a Hindu setting, is Brahma is the creator, part of like a trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. But Brahman is pure infinite consciousness, which it so happens you are. Okay, so follow along. He says, he said, "We live in succession, in division, in parts and particles." That's what Gurudev was telling us about the mind. "Meantime, within man is the soul of the whole, the wise silence, the universal beauty, in which every part and particle is equally related, the eternal one." He talked about Maya, and in this passage, again, you can study him as you would in college. I was an English major at Columbia, and you got exposed to all this kind of stuff and never hear anything, not a word. And to this day, you can go and see, I watched a bunch of documentaries on him just to bone up on this a little bit. You wouldn't know this. So drawing on the Vishnu Purana, because this passage is almost a direct quote from that, because he got exposed through his own student, Thoreau, he got exposed to all these other scriptures too, because Thoreau had the biggest collection of Indian scripture in the world at the time. Thoreau, on Walden Pond, Thoreau. So he says this, "Thy illusion beguiles all who are ignorant of thy true nature." He's talking to Maya, the goddess. "The fools who imagine soul to be in that which is not spirit. The notions that I am and this is mine." The notion that I am and this is mine is Maya. "These are but delusions of the mother of the world, originating in thy active agency." So you can see why he would get kicked out. He basically went to this commencement address and told them that they, should think for themselves and not follow any of the sectarianism of the Christian faith at that time, as he saw it. On immortality, Emerson tells the story from the Katha Upanishad directly about Nachiketa. Katha Upanishad tells a story of young Nachiketa who demands to know the secret of immortality from Lord Yama, the Lord of Death. You know, tell it to me. Yama says, ask for anything else. He won't. He's quite the kid. You know? And Emerson was referring to all of that. And then once he probably described this more than once, but here's a description of his own awakening, his own samadhi experience, and not just a lower samadhi. This sounds pretty much like the Jivan Mukta state that Gurudev wanted for all of us, to become a liberated soul. He said, this is a quote, "I behold with awe and delight many illustrations of the one universal mind. I see my being embedded in it as a plant in the earth, so I grow in God. I am only a form of him. He is the soul of me. A certain wandering light comes to me, which I instantly perceive." And by the way, you know, we're in a light ashram, you know, circling in our orbit, you know, a giant light of lotus. And they all seem to recite. Have you noticed that? It doesn't matter if they grew up in an Indian tradition or not. They all seem to end up focusing on light. Einstein focused on light and changed physics forever. I mean, that's what all of his early thought experiments were about, picturing light going at a certain speed and what that would result in. So he says, where was I? "A certain wandering light comes to me, which I instantly perceive to be the cause of causes. It transcends all proving. It is itself the ground of being, and I see that it is not one and I another." This is the essence of Vedanta. It's not one and I another. We are not separate from that. But this is the life of my life. There is one fact, then, that in certain moments I have known that I existed directly from God, and I am, as it were, his organ, and in my ultimate consciousness, I am he. Tat Tvamasi, the great Mahavakya, which is the essence of Vedanta. Well, Aham Brahmasmi, you could say. They're all the Mahavakyas are variations of Tat Tvamasi. Thou art that, or, you know. When Thoreau, Emerson's famous protege, went to Walden Pond, he took only one book with him. And what do you think that was? Again, you'll never hear this in a typical course on Thoreau. It was the Bhagavad Gita. It was that same first translation of the Bhagavad Gita. Here's what Thoreau said about it. "The Bhagavad Gita was a constant companion in my days of silence. In the morning, I bathed my intellect in the stupendous and cosmogonal philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita, since whose composition years of the gods have elapsed, and in comparison with which our modern world and its literature seems puny and trivial, the reader is raised into and sustained in a bigger, purer, or rarer region of thought." I mentioned that he had the biggest library of Vedanta in America, which he later bequeathed to Emerson. He said, "What extracts," this is Thoreau again, "what extracts from the Vedas I have read fall on me like the light," there's the light again, "of a higher and purer luminary, which describes a loftier course through a purer stratum. Whenever I have read any part of the Vedas, I have felt that some unearthly and unknown light illuminated me." Isn't that wonderful? They're describing their samadhi experiences to us, which you can't. Remember, bhavatitam can't be grasped by the mind, but you can point to something. You can at least say, okay. I haven't experienced that yet. I guess I have some work. In the great teaching of the Vedas, Thoreau says, there is no touch of sectarianism. Truth is one, paths are many. That's no touch of sectarianism. It's the greatest thing about our tradition, our lineage. It is of all ages, climes, and nationalities, and it is the royal road for the attainment of the great knowledge. And he thought of himself as a yogi and knew the word yoga and yogi. Thoreau said, rude and careless as I am, I would fain practice yoga faithfully. So, who knew? Again, I'm telling you, you could study these and get a degree in them and never hear any of this. So it's wonderful stuff. American Veda gives a list of people who have openly acknowledged their debt to Emerson and his Vedanta-drenched philosophy, and the list includes Emily Dickinson, Robert Frost. These are all people who openly said that they owed this debt to Emerson. Robert Frost, Frederick Douglass, the great, abolitionist, Booker T. Washington, Nietzsche, you've heard of Nietzsche, probably, and William James, the father of American psychology. So I'm just throwing out tidbits now because I like this stuff a lot. One of my favorite poets of all time, going through all that academic study, was William Butler Yeats, very famous Irish poet. Phenomenal. I highly recommend him. And go and read him knowing that he was tremendously influenced by Vedanta. He wrote the introduction, which you'll never hear, he wrote the introduction to a translation of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, William Butler Yeats. And Yeats actually collaborated with a Swami on an excellent translation of the 10 principal Upanishads. It's still around. So who else is famous in the arts at this point and later? Well, how about T.S. Eliot, right? You've all heard of T.S. Eliot. If you haven't heard of T.S. Eliot, you've heard of Cats on Broadway, which is based on a poem of his, although I'm sure we don't want to make him roll in the grave. He says, here's an interesting little tidbit about him. He studied Sanskrit and Pali. Pali is the language of the Buddhist teachings, at Harvard for 2 years. He wrote this, quote, it's great to see how excited they were. Oh, God. He said, the subtleties of these ancient Indian sages make our European philosophers look like schoolboys. And he ended one passage with Shanti, 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 written out. And he knew the Sanskrit too, so I'm sure he could have just written it in Sanskrit. And he says, this is the peace that passeth understanding. So he's connecting Vedanta to the Bible. Now, just a quick peek, I think I've got a few more minutes at the impact on scientists. You've probably heard of Tesla, not the car, but Nikola Tesla, who was kind of Edison's counterpart, but he was like this wild man, hard to describe, a mystic, really. Well, this will tell you everything you need to know. Vivekananda was the first guru to come over in 1893 to speak at the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago, at the Chicago World Fair. So they had pavilions, different pavilions. Tesla had his own pavilion there. He would shut down his pavilion and come to Vivekananda's talks. He would stand in the back and to listen to Vivekananda's talk and go away after that. And they struck up a correspondence, and in one letter, Vivekananda writes, I'm going to meet Tesla. This is a quote from Vivekananda. He has promised to demonstrate mathematically how matter is energy. So Vivekananda goes to him and says, you know that matter is energy. This is unheard of. It's completely crazy at the time. And Tesla couldn't do it, it turns out. And Goldberg in the American Veda book says, in 1902, when Vivekananda wrote that matter and energy are the same thing, this was a crazy idea Vivekananda took Mahasamadhi in 1902, and not until 1905 did Einstein's famous E equals mc squared. Matter is energy, energy is matter. You know, he got the Nobel Prize for that as part of special relativity. It's the most famous equation in all of science. So that, you could say, was like a commonplace thought to Vivekananda, which he planted in Tesla as well. Einstein's friend and colleague, and by the way, Einstein did all of his best work in samadhi. You know, you can read about that. They won't talk about Vedanta necessarily. I don't know how that had a direct root, but he did. They were called thought experiments, and came up with all of his stuff. He would lose control of his bodily functions, freeze in one position for days at a time. His wife would try to force feed him, you know, because he would sit there in this other state. And when he came out of the samadhi, he would describe it as, he said, my thought process is more of the nature of not thoughts, but muscular contractions. Sound like chakras, baby? Einstein, no, his friend Erwin Schrödinger, this is the dawn of quantum physics, just a little after the special relativity and E equals mc squared. The stuff that the whole world runs on right now that no one understands. So here's what Schrödinger, he's the one who came up with the equations that describe the electron, which is crucial to the whole picture of quantum physics. So Schrödinger wrote, and again, you won't commonly find this, quote, Vedanta teaches that consciousness is singular. All things are played out in one universal consciousness, and there is no multiplicity of selves. This life of yours, which you are living, is not merely a piece of this entire existence, but in a certain sense, the whole. What the Brahmins expressed in the sacred mystic formula. This is Erwin Schrödinger. He's, you know, Schrödinger's cat. He's about as famous as they come. The Brahmins express in the sacred mystic formula, which is yet so simple and so clear, Tat Tvamasi, this is you, he translates it as. That thou art would be literal. And he describes in one place, and I read this passage, that he was pondering what became the cornerstone of quantum physics, the description of the electron equations, pondering and pondering at bedtime. He got up in the morning, this is in his own words, I'm not going to read a passage, but he went to his shaving mirror, and he was shaving, and suddenly his face disappeared in the mirror and was replaced by an electron. Patanjali is filled with descriptions of this that you can read in Gurudev's wonderful commentary of samadhi being when you become one with the object of meditation. So he became the electron, and it was all revealed to him, you know. And then later you try to figure out a way to write it down. Heisenberg, probably the other biggest name, the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. These are the core founders of the science that runs the world right now, quantum physics. He said he spent time in India, which normally you don't read anything about this, and he said, one cannot always distinguish between statements made by Eastern metaphysics based on mystical insight and the pronouncements of modern physics based on observations, experiments, and mathematical calculations. But as I just told you, that's the end of the quote. As I just told you, it's not like this stuff was all based on using instrumentation. Things were confirmed later with gigantic instrumentation, but a lot of it had sounded like it had the quality of samadhi, which is the same thing that the Vedantic, the ancient Indian physicists, which is probably the right way to refer to them, were using. They directly experienced it. So did Einstein. So did Schrödinger when his face disappeared. And by the way, speaking of giant instrumentation, the biggest thing ever built, machine, in the world is the super collider in CERN in Geneva. It spans parts of Switzerland and France. It's so enormous, the tunnels that they used to smash the atoms that were used to confirm the existence of the Higgs boson, which made a lot of headlines not that many years ago because it was also called the God particle, and they confirmed it. No one knows what it is. You could talk to any completely conservative, straight down the line, right today, quantum physicists. They don't know what it is. They don't know what dark matter is, dark energy. They don't know how to talk about quantum physics because bhavatitam. It's better not to try to talk about it. They literally said that. They had a famous meeting back in the 1920s and said all the problems with quantum weirdness happen because we're trying to talk about something which can't be talked of. So what's outside of this largest machine in the world? This particle accelerator, among other things, but outside in the gardens is a nataraj, a large nataraj. And last but not least, Oppenheimer, who got real famous recently, headed the Manhattan Project where they were racing to develop the atomic bomb because they felt like if Germany got it first, it's going to be toast for the rest of us. So as much as we may hate what ended up happening from a result of that, they had, I think, good intentions that they felt like they had no choice. Anyway, he had a keen interest in the Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta. Again, I think you can see the movie and all these things and never hear about this except one quote that he made from the Bhagavad Gita when the first bomb exploded. And he studied Sanskrit in Berkeley and was introduced to the Bhagavad Gita, which he read in the original Sanskrit, and he would sometimes translate it, remember the irresistible urge to translate it, and for the benefit of friends and co-workers. When Sarvapriyananda talked about it, he said he must have been a great bore to them. You take them aside, they're at Los Alamos racing to invent the atomic bomb. Oppenheimer wrote, "It is the most beautiful philosophical song," Gita means song, "in any known tongue." He had a small library which he took with him wherever he went, and the Gita was always part of it, and he would hand out copies of the Gita to his friends. And during the Manhattan Project, to alleviate the tension, including before the first blast, which some of the scientists seriously thought, they thought the chain reaction might be set off in the atmosphere instead of just in the bomb and actually blow up the entire planet Earth. So there was a little tension about what they were doing, and he got people together before they set off the first bomb to relax them and translated from the Gita for them. So it's a pretty strange trip. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt, this is the last point, when he died, near the end of the war, Oppenheimer organized a memorial with all the military and scientists gathered together from the Manhattan Project. And he quoted from the Bhagavad Gita, Om Tat Sat. So all this stuff we take for granted, we can't imagine how lucky we are to be bathing in this, to grow up in this. Thank you very much for your patience.
Well, maybe we don't need notes. Aw, thank you so much, Reverend Paraman, for a wonderful talk. We got much more than a lecture on Vedanta, but also a wonderful history lesson and new appreciation for so many figures across disciplines. So thank you so much. It was really a lot to take in. Okay, just in case. Thank you. We have. We have a few announcements, and then we'll close with an Arati for the evening. So next weekend's speaker, we'll have two. We'll have Reverends Bhavani and Bhagavan Metro. They'll be speaking next Saturday at Satsang. For those that can't join us in person, you can always join online. You can either choose to watch live Saturday evening, or you can rewatch the Satsangs later on either Vimeo, vimeo.com/Yogaville, or the ashram's YouTube page, Satchidananda Ashram Yogaville, on YouTube. And I think there should be a handout on the audio-video station in the back for those that would like to take a picture. So please feel free to join anytime or rewatch old programs also. So now, and one more announcement. Tomorrow morning, for those that would like to join, there is a puja service, a worship service at Chidambaram Temple at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we hope to see you there. And finally, we'll close with an offering of light and Arati for the evening. So on the stage, we'll offer a smaller candlelight representing the divine light within to a larger light on stage. And then the light will be offered to the sages and saints around the room. And finally, the light will be offered to all of us here in the room and on the live stream. And you can choose to extend your arms and draw the light towards you. So if you would like to stand, we'll recite the Jyoti chant while the light's being offered on the back side of the yellow sheets. Om Jyoti 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 Swayam Jyoti 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 Param Jyoti 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 Aro Jyoti 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 Shivam Vama Jyoti Soma Jyoti Vana Jyoti Jnana Jyoti Mahajyoti Yoga Jyoti Vata Jyoti Nada Jyoti Hema Jyoti Vyoma Jyoti Eru Jyoti Viru Jyoti Eka Jyoti Eka Jyoti Eka Jyoti Jyoti He Light, O light of self-effulgence, light, O light of absoluteness, light, O light of gracefulness, light, O light of auspiciousness, light of Shiva, light of moon, light divine, light of wisdom, light of heaven, light of yoga, light of wind, light of sound, light, delight, light of water, rising light, vital light, the only light, the only light, give us light, O light of light. You may be seated. We'll recite the closing prayers. Asatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityormamritam gamaya. Lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. Om Sahanao Vavatu, Sahanao Punaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect us, grant us wisdom's fruit. May we gain energy to know the truth. May our intellects grow clear and bright. May we cherish no ill feeling towards anyone. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. And may the light of truth overcome all darkness. Victory to that light. Jai Shri Satguru Maharaj Ki. Jai. Om Shanti. Have a beautiful, peaceful evening.